A girl wakes up, sweaty and gasping from a nightmare. She is in her well-decorated, albeit a little messy room. After brushing and getting a hold of herself, she walks down the stairs, grabbing a glass of water. She makes breakfast for herself and chats with her mom, who asks her if she is excited about her first day. They talk about some prince who she might see, and her mother tells her to keep her manners. The girl listens to all her mother's instructions, kisses the baby in the cradle and her mother, and rushes out. In the new school, she asks for her classroom from a random person in the hallway, and then enters the room. The teenagers, who look like they know each other, chat away, not paying much heed to the plain-looking girl who has just walked in. She takes her seat at the back, near a window. A man with the name, Ove, approaches her desk and welcomes her to their classroom. He has an eccentric-looking floral shirt on, and seems to be a happy-go-lucky guy. Lena, the main girl, smiles at him slightly, accepting his greeting, and eyes a curly-haired blonde boy who has just entered the classroom. It is the famous prince, who seems to be a player, surrounded by people. Cal, the boy, walks in while a girl who was with him excuses his lateness, saying he wanted to fix his hair before class. He takes a seat beside Lena, who introduces herself as they shake hands. He pronounces her name as Lean and she corrects him, chuckling slightly. To get him to say it right, she lightly starts singing a song that her mom puts on in the mornings. But the class looks at her in awe at her weird tactics. Cal smiles at her, saying he does not know that song, but it is still nice to meet her. The period begins, and the teacher, Ove, introduces Lena to the class, mispronouncing her name, telling them she is the girl who is sitting beside Carl Johan. That must be the prince's full name. He tells the class to greet her. The class turns back and everyone says hi to her, smiling at the new girl, all except the girl who entered with Cal, who stares at Lena like she is a different kind. Cal loudly tells the entire class that her name is not Lean. It is Lena, and she is named after a Håkan Hellström song. Everyone greets her again, but this time a little incredulously because of the way Cal, a royalty, spoke for the new girl. Lena goes home after school. She looks at her body in the mirror and highlights her insecurity, her bulging tummy, like many teens do, and goes downstairs after freshening up. Her mother asks her how her day went, but she does not reply much, just smiles. She then wears her hair in a ponytail and tells her mother she is going to training. Her mom tells her to take Theodore, who seems to be Lena's younger brother, with her on her run. She takes him in his stroller and runs up a narrow lane. She is suddenly reminded of this flashback of her running away from a few girls in the past. She stops running and takes deep breaths with the song still blaring in her ears. The stroller gets stuck in one of the tree roots, and coincidentally, her headphones turn off and her phone dies too. As she picks her little brother up from the stroller and gets it out, it runs down the hill, bumping into a few people, including Cal. He asks her what she is doing up in this route, because this is not a running track. She sheepishly holds her little brother and tells Cal that she got lost, because she is new here. She then introduces her brother to him, and he helps her find her way again, carrying the stroller up to an open area which she can walk on to get home. She thanks him for his help, and notices a bug on his chest. As he tries to scratch it off, she tells him not to do that, and gets closer to him, swiftly getting the bug off his chest. He jokes a bit, asking if she needs to suck out the venom, but Lena cleverly tells him that ticks are not the same as cobras. As a thank you, Cal invites the new girl to the annual pool party on Friday. But Lena is reluctant. She makes obvious excuses as to why she cannot come, but he smiles and tells her to bring a swimsuit as well. He also takes a selfie with her before he leaves, saying he needs a picture with his rescuer. The next day, Lena goes to school, but everyone is staring at her. She goes to her locker, and Ingrid, the popular girl, introduces herself, along with two of her friends. She then asks Lena, a bit ominously, how she knows Cal. Lena explains that she was out with her little brother but got lost. The girl asks further about the spot on Cal's chest, but Lena says it was a bite from a tick, making the girl snicker with disbelief. Just then, someone named Tess comes up from behind, and Ingrid meets the fancy-looking girl with dyed hair and a fur coat. They introduce Lena to her, who seem to get along well, before Tess leaves after calling the girl who was with Cal the first day queen of paranoia. Lena catches Cal outside and stutters, thanking him for helping her, and he smiles fascinatingly at her. The teacher interrupts them and calls them inside. At home, Lena is in bed, looking at Cal's social media accounts, with his pictures. He has many with girls, and she swipes to see their pictures on his feed. She hears a call from her mother, and rushes down to see him standing inside her house with her brother in his arms. Her mother seems flabbergasted by the fact that she has royalty in her home. Cal talks to her parents, who answer very nervously. The atmosphere seems awkward, but Cal is a smooth talker and doesn't make it too bad. He tells Lena she is not dressed for a pool party, but he also says they can stay here and play with little Theo. Lena quickly says that the pool party is a better idea, and that she will be ready in 5 minutes. She wears a dress with her hair open, and Cal helps her put on her helmet as she rides his bike with him, her arms around him and the royalty's bodyguards driving at the back. They reach the party, and Cal says he will be right back, and leaves to greet several girls. Lena watches as he hugs all of them. She is offered a bottle of beer which she takes, and then makes her way to the hot dog grill, asking for one. As she eats, she sees Tess from school, who greets the shy new girl but says she has to leave, because she doesn't really like these parties and someone here doesn't like her. Ingrid comes and says hi to Lena too, and looks at her unsurely when she sees that the new girl is eating. But Lena simply thanks her for the food. She asks the blonde, popular girl about Tess's dislike for one person, and Ingrid eyes Margaret, Cal's friend, and the girl who was looking at Lena weirdly on her first day. They go up to her, and she gets introduced to the pretty but shady girl, who looks at Lena with suspicion but still falsely thanks her for coming to the party. Lena blabbers a bit about how royalty are normal people, but Margaret seems to take that as an insult and snaps back a comment. The group of girls then start making fun of Tess, but Lena stands up for the girl, saying she looked nice. This makes Margaret stare at her, and soon Cal comes to take her away. He has his arm around Lena's shoulder as they walk away, Margaret glaring at the girl. He asks if she is okay, and if his sister was grilling her. It seems Margaret is Carl Johan's sister. He takes her to a round comfortable seat, albeit a little small for two people, but they still sit together. Lena seems to be a little drunk as she excessively laughs and sits with her legs on the boy's lap. They talk a bit before he brings up how difficult his sister can be, and Lena tells him that she was getting cross-questioned by her, but they both laugh about it. Cal tells her how most of them have known each other since junior high, and how stability is important among royals. He hands her a smoke, and she takes it, but says beer is way better. He looks her in the eye and tells her he is glad she is here. But Lena, who is a straightforward girl, says that she is only here because he barged into her house and started bonding with her parents. She then calls him nice, but reminds him that he is a crown prince and a player. At that, he seems to perk up, repeating the word player with a question mark in his voice. Lena basically points out how he is drowning in women, and he just says okay. He still gets close to her face, and so does she. Just as they are about to kiss, their classmate interrupts them, making a joke, making them all laugh. He takes Cal away, saying he needs his help. As she is left alone, Lena gets flashbacks of her past, a weird club-like setting with weird people, drinking, smoking, fights, etc. It seems she had fallen asleep, and she wakes up, extremely drowsy, and starts walking with no destination. She arrives by the edge of the pool, standing on the edge, and falls inside. As she reaches the bottom and is about to drown, Cal saves her. But as they come up, she thinks he was trying to drown her. She screams at him, as everyone around her records the tantrum. Margaret says she almost drowned, but Lena screams at her too, saying swimming is normal at a pool party, and rushes out. Once she reaches her home, she throws up outside her home, and her dad helps her out gently by pulling the hair back. They sit outside together, and he asks if she took drugs, but she says she is fine, just not used to drinking and stuff. Her father tells her that there are many pictures of Cal with women, but she says he's not that bad, and throws up again. Later, she is in her bed when her father sits beside her, and tells her that she should just tell the prince straight up. About what? We don't know. The next morning, Lena wakes up to her phone beeping. Several requests on her Snapchat account. There are rumors of her and the prince, and someone has even texted her, asking if she has told Cal of her creative side. There is a voice message from Cal, and he thanks her and apologizes for yesterday. She replies back lightly, and says no to his invitation to join him on a boat. As she keeps the trash away, she meets Cal outside. Surprised at his presence, she greets him with a smile. He asks to hold Theo, but when he does, the little baby pees all over the prince's shirt. Lena takes him inside, and hands him one of her oversized shirts. It fits him perfectly. She then apologizes for the way she got wasted last night. As they are about to kiss, Lena's parents come back with groceries. Lena decides to take the boat with Cal, and they walk down to his small two-seater boat. They get in as his guard instructs him on safety. The two teens take the boat to the beautiful sea, with Cal driving it. In the middle of the vast sea, they both get in their swimsuits and lay back, sunbathing. They talk about everything that happened last night, and he calls her fierce and honest, which he likes. He asks her why they moved, and she gets that his father got a new job here so they had to move. They hold hands a bit and he thanks her for not spreading her pictures with him. He tells her of the way people spread his pictures online. They plan pictures of him, and suddenly, there are 150 articles about him. She caresses his face before kissing him. He kisses back. They head back to a party being held on the yacht, but Lena says she won't be joining because she doesn't want to ruin the amazing day she had. They hug and he calls her to his place tomorrow. She is surprised when he invites her to the palace, and he leaves, saying he will see her tomorrow. Lena heads back home with a smile. The next day, Cal sends over a car to her house, and she is driven to the palace. The gigantic place looks like a palace straight out of a fairy tale movie. Lena quickly wears a crown on her head and gets ready to greet Cal in a funny manner. But to her surprise, her father, the king, opens the door. He looks at her peculiar sense of style and goofy smile and lets her in. He makes small talk with her and then asks if she likes seafood, She says she does, and he tells her to eat with them. Margaret and Cal walk in, and Cal tells her that there was a slight change of plans and apologizes. They start eating soup, and Cal's dad asks her about her past. It is obvious that every time she gets asked about her past, she gets uncomfortable. They drop the topic soon enough and begin eating. There is a woman who enters the room and everyone becomes on edge when she enters. It is the Queen. She greets Lena, who nervously greets back and then asks to talk to her husband in private. When she leaves, Margaret starts taunting Lena severely, making Cal angry, and Lena gets increasingly offended. Their father returns and asks who wants dessert, but everyone says no. And Lena shows him her bag of candies, saying she is all set. At first, Cal's father says he is okay with eating his caramel pudding, but then he asks Lena if he can have some sweets, and picks out the ones he likes, smiling at her. Cal's father seems to be a very nice person. He watches from the dinner table as Lena and Cal leave the dining hall. Lena comes home and tells her parents she had dinner at the palace. She treats it nonchalantly, but it is obviously a big deal. The next day, she had lunch alone at school when Cal sits in front of her. He invites her to the cabin his friends are going to, and she says that the only way she will go is if she and Cal get a room to themselves with a lock and privacy. She then asks about his mom, and Cal tells her that she has severe anxiety. Lena gets her backpack ready for the trip, and Cal picks her up, along with all of their friends' cars as well. Lena's mom hands Cal the shirt Theo soiled the other day, and much to Lena's dismay, Margaret steps up and talks to her parents in a fake nice voice. Lena has a dream, but it is more like a flashback. She remembers the time she was cheated on by her boyfriend, and she had posted the video of him cheating with another girl. Suddenly, she wakes up with a jolt, realizing that Cal is taking a picture of her while she is sleeping. He calls her cute, but pictures make her uncomfortable, so she asks him to delete it, making Margaret eye her from the front of the car. On the way there, it starts raining, and Cal says he needs to use the bathroom. They stop by the nearest gas station. Coincidentally, it is in the town Lena used to live in. Inside the shop of the station, Lena sees Giro, the girl whose video Lena posted. At first, she hides from Giro's view, but slowly, she gets the courage to confront the blonde girl with bangs. So she follows her out back where she is putting the trash away, and apologizes for the video that she posted. As Lena is about to walk away, Giro grabs her by the hair, spitting at Lena's face, and pushes her to the ground, getting on top of her and rubbing dirt all over her face, cussing at her. They thankfully get interrupted by Margaret and Cal's bodyguard, who asks if everything is okay. Lena gets up off the ground with dirt all over her, and says she is okay, making the bodyguard leave. Margaret tells Giro that there is a long line in her shop, so she should go back in. And as Lena is left alone, Margaret expresses her surprise at how famous Lena seems to be in Horton. However, Margaret seems to be understanding. She hands Lena tissues and says she won't tell Cal about this. Lena returns back after crying and wiping the dirt off herself, and they continue the journey to the cabin. Once they reach the lavish place, Cal tells her they have their own place, and takes her to a secluded area where they both get into the water, swimming and kissing. They then go back to their room and get in bed. Lena takes the lead as she fumbles with Cal's belt. He stops her hand. She lays down beside him and asks if he finds her gross, but he says it is that he does not want to make anyone pregnant. She understands and they kiss. At dinner, the group of friends sit and joke around. Lena finally asks why the group does not like Tess, and Margaret tells her that she became famous on social media by selling gossip about the royals. They then have a toast, and then sit together as their friend sings and plays guitar. Ingrid eyes Lena, who is in Cal's arms. The next day, Cal wakes up with Lena beside him, and they hug and kiss at first, before Cal pushes her off him again. He expresses his discomfort over rumors, girls, and whatnot. Lena holds him from behind, consoling him. She tells him he is wonderful, and that she doesn't care of his past. She only wants to be with him. His friend once again disturbs them and catches them during an intimate moment. He laughs and calls them outside, saying they have guests. As Lena and Cal walk to the group, Lena sees all her old friends with them. She gets anxious and tells Cal she will be heading back to the cabin. Once there, she packs all of her bags and leaves a note for Cal, saying she will explain later. As she is walking up the dirt path, she gets approached by Giro, but they have an argument where Lena finally speaks up a bit. Giro expresses the fact that Lena shared her private video for the world to see, but Lena once again apologizes. Giro threatens to tell everyone about who she really is, and Lena says she does not care and then leaves. A random car stops to warn her that she is walking on a road where cars drive. She asks the man if he has time, and if he can drop her to Oslo. Since she does not have money to pay the man, she tries contacting her mom, but finds out that the rest of her family is also out camping. With no one else to help her, she has no choice but to contact Tess, who pays for Lena's ride and meets with her in Oslo. She takes Lena to her home where she is served pancakes and tea by Tess's dad. Tess tells Lena that she never posted any pictures of the royals. They have a heart-to-heart while Tess does Lena's makeup. Lena, who is at a park, gets a text from Arnie, Cal's friend, who who tells Lena that this is the first time he has seen Cal like this. Hearing this, and after getting a surge of motivation, Lena texts Cal a picture of the park, telling her she loves him, and that she wants to tell him everything tomorrow at 5 p.m. At the park the next day, Lena sets up the picnic, but it is not Cal who visits her. It is Margaret, who tells her to stay away from her brother, and that she talked to Lena's old gang yesterday. Lena says she is trying to be better, but Margaret insults her, cussing at her and calling her a liar. Margaret sits on the picnic blanket and asks Lena how old her son is. She guesses his age. Turns out, Theodore is Lena's son. It seems expected by the way Lena always took care of him. Margaret says she just doesn't want any trouble, but she does not want her family to suffer. But she also lightly threatens Lena that if she doesn't stay away from Cal, she will tell everyone that Lena has a son. Lena runs back, crying and remembering the time she gave birth. The next day, Cal tries talking to Lena, but she insults him, saying she only wanted to have fun with him, not deal with him. He leaves. Lena goes home and tries to stop crying, but she breaks down in the kitchen and her family hugs her. She cries loudly and says she tried so hard to live a new life. She cries louder and says it is not working out, that nothing will be okay again. Her father walks up and tells Lena that if she and her boyfriend stayed then, Christian had shared responsibility, and they would have stayed in Horton. Lena's mom wipes her daughter's tears and leaves to tend to Theodore, but Lena follows her, saying she will take care of him. But Lena sees her mom faint by the bottom of the stairs. Turns out, she had a blood clot, but she is okay now. They performed a small surgery, but she will recover. By her mom's hospital bed, her father talks about how Lena's mom felt like home to him, that before her, he felt really lonely. Lena walks out with Theodore in her arms and takes a video with the kid. In the video, she tells everyone about her child and apologizes. A few days later, back at home, she plays with her son, who coos in her arms. She does housework as her phone rings and rings. Her mom is finally home. They have lunch that Lena made, and her mom tells her that she saw Lena's post on Instagram. Lena tells her family that she has forgiven her ex, because she understands his position. Her phone keeps beeping, and her mom picks it up to see the messages. She sees all the people in school telling her she should come to prom. There is a ring on the door, and Lena gets up to answer. At the door it's Tess, who is surprised by the fact that Lena has a kid. She says she has been looking for the single mother all over the area. She gets Lena ready for the party, and they enter together. Lena is wearing her hair up, and a white dress that resembles a wedding gown. Her friends meet her really nicely, saying they want to meet her child. As everyone goes back to their seat, Margaret comes to Lena and whispers that she will not tell anyone about Lena being a gossip if she stays away from her brother. Everyone cheers as Ove is on stage, announcing today's prom. He calls Carl Johan to the stage, who is a special guest today. Everyone cheers for the prince. Cal says he is not a good singer, but he still wants to sing. The music starts as Cal starts singing. The music is upbeat as everyone claps for the attractive boy. He is singing the same song that Lena told him about the first time they met. Margaret watched with anxiety as he walks up to Lena. He kisses her in front of everyone, while everyone cheers loudly for them. Margaret sits alone in despair, watching everyone dance as she sips on wine. She falls to the floor, her eyes water as she collapses.